What does that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, another special Kickstarter review, and today I'm very excited to be checking out Lugu from Ben Miles. This is for 2 to 6 players. Ages, I'd say about 8 and up, and it'll take us, anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour to play. And in Lugu, you will be creating stories using very, very abstracted cards, trying to get your opponents to figure out what cards you're using, but not all your opponents, or else, well, then you don't get any points. It's currently on Kickstarter right now. It could definitely use some help. It's not doing the best right now, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's open up the game and see how it plays. Alright, so we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Lugu. First and foremost, as I always like to mention, this is the promotional copy I have in front of you. Obviously, yours is not going to be printed out on printer paper. Moving that aside, I don't think too much is going to change artwork-wise, and also this, let's just get down to the gameplay. First and foremost, we got our handy-dandy rule booklet. It is very, very short, 1 page, full color, not double-sided, and it will have you up and running in no time. It's a very, very simple game to understand and to play. Next, you're going to get decks of cards. You're going to get 6 decks of cards. They're going to have 21 very abstract images on them. As you can tell, these are extremely abstract. So in order to start the game, we're going to figure out who is the most creative player, and this is one thing I really liked. I wish I would have stole from them, because it's always good in a storytelling game to start with the most creative player. They're going to shuffle up their cards, and they're going to randomly pick out 4 cards to put in front of them. Everyone else is going to take their cards and look at them, and then this player is going to start their story. So what they're going to do is they're going to look at their first card, and they're going to hold it up so no one can see it. So let's take a look at this. They're not going to really talk too much about it. They're going to figure out what they want to do, and then they're going to start their story. So for me, I don't know much about geography, so I'm going to pretend this is a Japanese flag. So I'll start my story by saying, alright, one day I was driving in my car on my way home from work, and I said, you know what? I'm sick of my boring life. I hate it. So I called my wife up and said, babe, let's get a divorce. And she was terribly, terribly ripped up and, you know, all that. But I said, you know what, I'm not happy with my life, so I'm going to move to Asia, and I'm going to find me a nice little Asian hottie, and I'm going to open up a noodle shop. So I decided to move to Japan. That's when I put the card down on the table. Now what's going to happen is every other player is going to try and figure out which card is fitting the story right now. So someone might say, oh, I think it's that one because there's mountains in Asia, or somebody might say, you know, I think it's that one because Asia's big and I'm small, or I don't know. But you're going to try and put that down, and you put that down in front of you like so, face down. So once everyone's done that, I will continue on, and I'll take a look at my next card, and then I will continue on my story. So I will say, all right, I moved to Japan, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start up a noodle shop. So I looked through the paper, and I figured out that there was an auction coming up. And now I'm going to go with snow for this one. Obviously, I wouldn't be telling that to the people. So I went to the auction. I was very, very fortunate that day because they were auctioning off the building on the corner, and it was incredibly snowy. And so no one came to the auction, and I ended up winning the auction. So next I put down this card. Once again, everyone would go through their cards and say, what's the snow? We'll go with that because there's snow on mountains. Whatever. So then we keep moving on, and I'll take a look at the next card. And so this, I'm going to pretend this is a snake. Sorry. But anywho, so I bought my noodle shop, and I was setting it up, I was cleaning it up, and I was having a good old time until I found something absolutely terrible. What was so terrible? It wasn't a cockroach. It wasn't a rat. It was a snake, a terrifying snake, and I had to chop its head off with a katana. Ha! Oh, man, it was scary. So I put my card down once again. Everyone would look through their cards once again, and they would go, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that one because it looks kind of like a snake. Ha-ha. And then we'll move to the final card. Pretend this is a skyscraper, because it kind of looks like a Japan skyscraper, maybe. So I'll continue on my story, and I'll say, well, we opened up the noodle shop, and I ended up doing ramen noodles. And surprisingly, they don't have ramen noodles in Japan, and people went crazy for ramen noodles. I was selling them for $3 a bowl, 3 yen a bowl, I should say. And all I paid was, you know, less than 13 whatever coin increments they have in Japan. But anywho, everybody loved the noodles, and I made so much money I actually had to relocate to a new building. I was at the top of a really tall skyscraper. Needless to say, when you got money and you got a noodle shop at the top of a skyscraper, ladies will come, and I had Asian ladies all over me. I had to beat them off with a stick, and I had the most popular noodle shop in Japan. It was beautiful, and I sat on the top of the 30th floor of my skyscraper eating my noodles, and life was good. The end. So put that down. Once again, someone would go and they'd say, oh, I don't know, it's this one because that's noodles. And then once everyone's done that, the person would reveal, and they'd go like this, and everyone else would reveal their cards as well. And once they reveal the cards, how this works is if you get it, if other people get yours correct. So let's say this one, I wouldn't score any points because, well, we'll pretend it's a 3-player game, because no one got it correct. So I wouldn't score any points on this one. So for this one, let's see that. No one got it correct once again, so I wouldn't score any points. However, on this one person got it correct, so I would gain a point. Now, if 2 people got it correct, I would still only gain 1 point. But the thing is, if everyone else gets it correct, then you gain 0 points. So you still can't just say, oh, it's a squiggly brown line. But anywho, you go around until everyone has had at least 2 turns, 2 turns being the storytelling, then you tally up the points, and whoever has the most points will be the winner of Lugu. Alrighty then, Lugu from Ben Miles. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First on the cons side, the game's not going to be for everybody. This is apparent. If you watch the video, I think you know whether or not the game's going to be for you. The abstract artwork is going to be a turn-off to some people. It just is. The storytelling is going to be a turn-off to some people. It just is. There's no real strategy to the game aside from don't just say, oh, it's a squiggly blue line, because then you won't get any points. And the last thing, you really do need to be creative in order to do this. That's true with any storytelling game, but I really think it's extra true with this one because, you know, say in like a Dixit game, you can say, oh, there's this and this and this. I can really tell what's on this card. Whereas this is more of definitely an abstract game where you're really going to have to be using your imagination to figure out what some of these cards are. So, got all those cons out of the way. Moving on to the pros, I did enjoy the game. Many as you may know, I created my own storytelling card game, so I obviously love storytelling games. I also like abstract games. I like games like this that make you really think, that make you use your brain and come up with a story. And I like the fact that there's no time cap put on the stories. You can meander about until you get to the point that you really want to, and I really think that helps create great stories. I played this a couple times. And I'll be honest with you, one time it went over really well. I was with some creative people. We had a lot of fun with it. We were telling funny stories. You know, we got to the point where we didn't really care who was winning. It was just the fact that we were having fun. I also brought it out on my game night, and it fell flat on its face. We did about 3 stories, and then people were like, can we play something else? And I completely understand that. It's going to be based on your taste, but more importantly, based on your gamer group's taste. Overall, Lugu, currently on Kickstarter. If you like storytelling games, if you like abstract games, and if you like games that really make you rack your brain a little bit, be sure to check it out. I personally enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your time, YouTube. That was the review for Lugu. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner. Yeah.